Hey everyone, Dr. Dave Miller here, coming back at you to talk about fats again for our second installment of the WTFats. Last time we talked about saturated fats and trans fats. Basically, trans fats are bad, and medium chain saturated fats we discussed a little bit more in detail about how chain length determines whether they're good for you, and generally small and medium chain length saturated fats are good. So we'll move on today to talk about the polyunsaturated fatty acids, or PUFAs, which includes omega-3, omega-6, and omega-7. Lesser known omega-7, and probably less important with the information that we have out there right now, but we'll talk about them. And then we'll talk about MUFAs, which are monounsaturated fatty acids. And all of these can be called omega fatty acids, which is also kind of confusing. But that's the nomenclature that's out there because it's made by scientists and they like to confuse us with science. Anyways, so we'll start off with omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids include your EPA, DHA, and ALA, which you may have heard of. So EPA and DHA are extremely important, and they're extremely important for several bodily functions, including cell-to-cell communication, platelet aggregation. So this helps with blood clotting, healthy blood clotting. And they decrease your triglyceride synthesis in the liver. So triglycerides are one of the markers of metabolic syndrome. You often see them on your blood test what the doctor runs generally to check your cholesterol and your triglycerides. You know, they're a biomarker for ill health and poor sugar metabolism as well. And also these fatty acids of the omega-3, the most important, and I'll say that right now, omega-3 are the most important of the ones we're going to talk about today. They're also important in inflammatory processes, heart rhythm, cell membrane fluidity, and actually brain development and the structure of the eye, the retina. So omega-3 fatty acids, here's the take-home message. They're really good, and they're in fish oils. You'll hear about alpha-linoleic acid being very important because it's a precursor. Sorry, it's alpha-linolenic acid. And I'm kind of glad I screwed up on camera because alpha-linolenic acid is often confused with alpha-linoleic acid. So what I'm talking about is a precursor to DHA and EPA is alpha-linolenic acid. So this precursor, you think that's great. Let's get the precursor from plants because we can get it from flax and chia seeds and other sort of vegetarian sources, but the body doesn't convert alpha-linolenic acid into EPA and DHA, which are the end products that we need. It doesn't do it very efficiently. So unfortunately, vegan friends, it's tough to get enough ALA to get enough of the EPA and DHA because the body cannot transform as much as it should of the alpha-linolenic acid into the DHA and EPA that we really need. Okay, so then we talk about omega-6 fatty acids. These are also essential fatty acids. So you'll also hear omega-3 and omega-6 called essential fatty acids, or EFAs. So omega-6 fatty acids are derived from linoleic acid, not linolenic, linoleic. And they're really abundant in fatty seeds, nuts, plant seed oils, and they also have important functions in the inflammatory response, vasoconstriction, so the tightening of blood vessels, and actually proliferation of cancer cells. There's some indication that they might actually induce cancer cell proliferation or growth. I won't go into these too much. I mean, omega-6 fatty acids need to be talked about because they are actually important for our body. But the truth is, we don't need to talk about them too much. We tend to get enough of them. It's the omega-3s that we don't tend to get enough of. In fact, there's some research saying we need to get a lot more omega-3s compared to omega-6s. So, generally the average diet, the average person is getting enough omega-6. So really we want to make sure we get enough omega-3. Some research saying we want a ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 to be over 2 or 3 to 1. And most of us don't even come close to that. Like, it's an order of magnitude, coming up short an order of magnitude. So the take-home message, again, get more omega-3 fatty acids from whatever source you can. Generally, I choose fish or krill oil. Omega-7 fatty acids are kind of new bunch. They're not non-essential fatty acid, and a source of them is macadamia nuts. And there's some research showing that they're actually maybe really good for cholesterol. But I think the evidence is sort of thin at this point on their how important these are. We'll say omega-7 is less important than omega-6 even. That's just my opinion of the science at this point. I'd focus a lot on omega-3, like we've said. Okay, so the last one you want to talk about in this category of sort of healthy fats is the monounsaturated fatty acids. So these are found in both plant and some animal sources. So most common plant source, you use it all the time probably, I hope, is olive oil, but it's also available in some meat and poultry. So it's a very common one that we use in the diet, but it's not essential. The body can make it if we need to, but increased amounts or adequate amounts are associated with reduced risk of all-cause mortality, death, and cardiovascular events. I don't like when they call it an event when you have a stroke and a heart attack, but that's the definition: cardiovascular event. So these are really healthy fats to try and get more of. So I hope we've sort of cleared up the landscape of fats, the nomenclature a little bit. I encourage you to check out. I have a website with the organization of the fats in a chart. So if you're a little bit more visual learner, you might find that a little easier to view than listening to me go on. So I hope you liked it and learned something. And then until next time, nourish, move, relax, and then you'll feel good. All right.